Georgia State's going to Eugene. They're gonna play the Ducks at Eugene. I wonder how much money they're making off of that one, huh? That's gonna be a big one. South Carolina is going. They're coming into Athens. They're gonna play the Dogs between the hedges. You're going to see. Let's see who else. Kentucky and South Carolina. That's at Kentucky, I believe. No, I'm sorry. Florida's playing Kentucky. At Kentucky, if I'm not mistaken. And then LSU and Auburn. Another big one in the SEC. It's down in Death Valley, if I believe. Yeah, down in Death Valley. Clemson's playing Louisville. That gets your kickoff going on Thursday. Florida State's playing Boston College. That's actually going to be a good game. Florida State is only favored by 9. That's a sucker bet. Boston College is going to give them a run for their money. Everett Golson's going to have a good game in order for them to stay in. Hands down, I don't see it any other way. Also, Friday night, you got Idaho State and Boise State. I'm not too impressed. New Mexico and Arizona State. Arizona State, if Arizona State runs the table, good for them. They should be running the table. They should be killing it, to be honest with you. Let's see, some other games to note. Michigan at UNLV. Only reason I say this is because I'd like to see Jim Harbaugh. Can he go 2-1 or does he go under 500? You've got, shout out to Kiko Alonso, who made the interception in the Falcons game last night. His squad, Buffalo, is playing Florida Atlantic. Who else do we have? Missouri out of the SEC. They're playing Connecticut. That's a scrub game for them. Oklahoma, who actually beat Tennessee. They're playing Tulsa. Scrub game for them. Everybody's on the SEC train. Oh, my God, Oklahoma. They beat Tennessee in overtime. Tennessee had that game won. That just goes to show you the lack of inexperience that Tennessee has. As I mentioned, Oregon and Georgia State. At Oregon, Georgia State going cross-country to handle that. That should be a good game. I'm looking forward to catching that on Watch ESPN. Let's see who else I've got. I've got one of the biggest games of the day, 3:30 game, Georgia Tech and Notre Dame. Welcome to the South Radio. I cannot believe I'm about to say this because you guys know I'm a huge, huge Florida State guy. Georgia Tech will beat Notre Dame easily, in my opinion, by at least 10, 11, 12 points. I don't think it's going to be a super-duper blowout. I don't think Notre Dame is going to be able to handle that defense. I think Thomas is going to be able to come through and not only pass the ball, but, of course, they're going to be able to run the ball. A lot of people don't know this. Georgia Tech, their A-back is a backup quarterback. So if something happens with Thomas, your A-back now steps into your quarterback role, and they don't miss a beat.
Absolutely.
Georgia Tech is firing on all cylinders.
Nice.
All cylinders. Shout out to Will Brown, by the way. Georgia Tech alumni.
Without
Big
question.
shout out to Will Brown.
Without question.
Big time music guy. It's actually my cousin for most of you guys who don't know. Big shout out. He's a Tech alumni as well. That's going to be a big game. CP, who you haven't met yet, the co-host of Welcome to the South. Huge Notre Dame fan. He's actually going to South Bend, going to the game. I told him I had a box of tissues for him when he got back.
He's going to come back in a pool of tears.
Oh, he'll come back in a pool of tears, all right. And then some. It'll probably be worse. You never know. Another big game, Auburn, LSU. We're talking Southern football. We're talking Auburn. We're talking LSU. Auburn, number one, should have lost the game last week against Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State had that game won. They had one play, the guy's foot was on the line. The receiver goes to catch the ball. His line's on it, doesn't count. Auburn pulls it out with like 60 or 40 seconds left in the game. They score a touchdown. Jeremy Johnson doesn't have his stuff together. Their defense, Will Muschamp, that's still a work in progress. I think they're going to be better as the year progresses. I still have them losing 2 games. I was really high on them. I didn't pick them to win the West. I actually did pick Alabama to win the West. Although, if Ole Miss continues their trend, I think they could upset and do it. I also think LSU, if they beat Auburn this week in Death Valley, the real Death Valley as most people call it, you're going to see not only a lot of peed-off Auburn fans, you're going to see a lot of people now start reviewing LSU a lot more because they didn't think LSU was going to be that good. They didn't think the Mad Hatter, Les Miles, was going to be able to handle his business. I got news for him. Aside from the fourth quarter of that Mississippi State game, when Mississippi State came back on them, I think scored 13 unanswered points, which Mississippi State could have won that game, or LSU could have put the game away. Obviously, they have issues. If LSU comes out and goes up big on Auburn in the first half, look for them to make adjustments. I think LSU beats. I think the line right now is 7.5, if I'm not mistaken. LSU's getting 7.5.
I like LSU in that game.
I do too. I like LSU in that game, and I like them by 10, 12 points. So you heard it here first. Welcome to the South Radio, baby. There it is. Georgia, South Carolina. I already gave you my prediction on that. UGA is going to do that one hands down. Let's see who else we got before we move on to the next one. Shout out to Charlotte, man. They're 2-0 going to Middle Tennessee. I give a big shout out to my boy Caleb, who I play with at GMC Junior College Football. He's gonna, he'll have that squad ready. I think Charlotte goes to Middle Tennessee. My lock of the week, UNC and Illinois. UNC is favored by 10. I think UNC wins by 15, 16 points, hands down. You heard it here first. Welcome to the South. Lock of the week, UNC over Illinois. Put 100 on it, baby. Put 100 on it. Just don't use 100 of my money because it's not going to happen. Western Carolina at Tennessee. If Tennessee wins, which they should win, it doesn't really prove jack to me. It just means that, okay, they got another win under their belt. Georgia does have to go to Tennessee this year to play them. I don't care what you say, home field advantage. Ohio State fans will tell you as well, home field advantage means a lot in the game of football. Absolutely. So, let's see. Kentucky and Florida, as I mentioned, Florida's going to Kentucky. Florida's actually favored to win that game by 3. I have Kentucky winning by 5.
I like that.
Go Stoops. We'll see what happens. Another big game, it's actually going to be televised, national television. Excuse me. Stanford at USC. USC is number 6 in the country. Stanford, after that first game, they come around and get a big win last week. Now they're going to USC. This is a rivalry game. It's on ABC. Cody Kessler, quarterback for USC, big-time Heisman Trophy candidate so far early in the season. USC, you got to show me a little bit more. You still got to play Notre Dame. I mean, listen, they've got tough schedules, but you still got to play Notre Dame. You still have to play Iowa. I think it's Iowa or Iowa State. I don't remember. That can be a tough game as well.
Well, on the big stage, you got to be ready to
show
that you belong in that Heisman conversation.
Absolutely. Going back to the SEC, we got Ole Miss at Alabama. Alabama's favored by 6.5, 7.
It's a lot.
If Machine Gun Kelly comes out firing, watch out. Ole Miss is on fire. On fire. It is unbelievable, that offense. They are doing things right now. And Alabama can't throw the long ball. Coker, transfer from Florida State. They have a quarterback competition. He can't throw the long ball. I don't see him doing anything. Derrick Henry, if you can stop the run, you can stop Alabama.
True.
I see Ole Miss being able to contain Henry, not necessarily stop him. I still say he runs for 120, 130 yards. But I like Ole Miss in a close one.
Still hard to win there, though.
It is in Tuscaloosa.
Yes.
It's very hard to win there. If Ole Miss is to solidify themselves, I still think they're going to pull a Georgia and have some scrub team upset them. I hate to say it, but I do see it happening. But Alabama's got a gauntlet. If Alabama wins this game, then they play a scrub team, then they play, there's like 4 or 5 teams back-to-back. I mean, they play Georgia, they play Tennessee, you still have Auburn coming up in the Iron Bowl down the road. I mean, you got a handful of absolute they got one of the toughest schedules. But then again, so does Georgia Tech, including this Notre Dame game, based on power rankings and whatnot.
Right.
Georgia Tech has a tough schedule. Not taking anything away from anybody else, and I don't like Tech, but I call it like I see it. And then let's see who else we got. We've got BYU and UCLA is going to be a big game for you folks out in California who are big UCLA fans. Jim Mora, Snoop Dogg's son, actually quit.
Yes.
UCLA, he's doing...
Wants to pursue the acting entertainment.
Yeah. All that work, unbelievable. Anyway, it is what it is.
But at least Snoop stayed away from the shenanigans. That,
you know what?
That P. Diddy was involved in.
And Diddy's son is still playing, apparently. So
I think he's a practice squad type dude.
Hey, listen. Yeah. Hey, shout out to Diddy, man. I ain't mad at you. Do your thing, baby. Do your thing. And then, of course, the last game we got is... TCU, I got to mention them because everybody's talking about can they make the playoffs. They play SMU. Until they play Baylor, I don't see them doing anything. So it is what it is. Welcome to the South Radio. Appreciate you tuning in. Coming up, Island Life. He's going to give us some new music. We're going to get into that. We're going to play One's Gots to Go with the you'll hear it. You'll like it. Trust me. It's good stuff. DJ Ray Tone is in the building.
True.
It's welcome to the South Radio. We will be right back.
I typed a text to a girl I